Okay, today is December 17th, 2020. It's the last SED community meeting for this year. All right, so I am sharing the agenda for today. We have 3 things there. Let's begin with Peter's first item, shall we?
Oh, hello, I'm Piotr. So I wanted to raise questions like if there is anything I can help around releasing 350 Alpha 0 that has some attention, and it seems that currently one of the most frequently asked issues and raised bugs are about using etcd properly using Go modules, and we expose documentation for this, but without this release it does not work yet. So I hope it requires some activity from maintainer, like executing comments, and mostly wanted to ask whether we see any next steps here.
Looking at this PR, so I guess Fuel is not replied yet.
I can reach out to Gio. I can try to reach out to him. Yeah, I'm sure he must be in mid of many things, as we talked earlier.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Yeah. I think that also related to the second thing you were talking about.
Yeah. So this one is like the second top issue seems people asking about being blocked with the update to GRPC above 129. And for this, we don't have red ECLs. There is a linked issue from some contributor that was working on this problem, but for last month there was no reiterations. I asked today on this issue whether the person plans to continue, but I think no response yet. But potentially it might be something that we should stop waiting and contribute on our own.
Yeah, it's blocking Kubernetes. So definitely should work on that. Is that it for the first 2 topics?
Yes, that's all. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get more maintainers' attention on both, right? When Gia, because I'll talk to Gio, and yeah, maybe we'll send an mail to the maintainers mailing list or something. Yeah.
Okay, so Dave, do you want to talk about the website, the document improvement plan?
Yes. So as we know, the etcd.io is it's not up to date, right? There are some of the issues open there, and it needs a better integration with the etcd GitHub repo, because it's process of using the doc we have under the etcd repo. So Josh has created the issue some time back with the his thoughts on the improvements, and then we have a Nate here. Yep, Nate, it's great to see you face to face here. Okay, we talked a lot lately, but never were on the camera before. So Nate is helping out, and Nate, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are helping out from the CNC website, right?
That's correct. I'm a developer advocate focusing on documentation for the CNCF.
Yeah. So, as part of this improvements, I know NGI, you were part of this discussion as well, right, in this issue. So as part of this, Nate has created, I think, several PRs, for the improvements there, with some of the weight within the documentation, and how we want to cater the content right in best possible way so the user has the really good experience there. So two things. One, we wanted, Nate and I both wanted to just, see if we can have a little bit of discussions here. Again, a little less presence today. But, it's more like those, if anybody wants to review those PRs, I looked at it, I had some comments, Nate has fixed it. So I think we should able to, when we can start merging those. But then the one more thing is, migration of the documentation from etcd repo to the website repo. So in a project like Kubernetes, they have done it right some time back, that everything is on their the Kubernetes website repo, right? And the documentation has its own repo. So that's something I had the same thought, and Net he mentioned it. I actually sent an email to the maintainers mailing list already, about their thoughts, right? But I mean, the advantage is you don't have to do this dual maintenance, and keeping up to date on the etcd.io side. The disadvantage that I could think is more like etcd is not as big a project like Kubernetes, for example, right? So we are the same folks. If you have any PR, you're making even small changes, code changes, and that needs a doc update, it's easy to just do it within one PR, right? You make some code changes, you make some doc changes. With these two separate repos, you basically creating a separate PR on the website, right? So little overhead, I guess, if somebody think that way. But I mean, I don't see any other disadvantages in doing this migration. So that's the other thing I wanted to see if Wenjia, Piotr, if you have any thoughts there.
Yeah, I think for a lot of PRs, sometimes we have the changelog change PR in a separate PR anyway.
That's true. And I think the changelog will stay with the etcd repo, if I'm not wrong. Only thing we will move is the technical, the documentation, right?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I agree. There is a little overhead, but I don't think it's that much of a problem. Hold on.
Yeah. Another advantage is splitting them up might be being able to have a continuous integration for the website where changes that are sort of between official releases or maybe even minor version changes can be updated sort of automatically and pushed to the website. Whereas right now it seems like there's a process where you have to copy everything over, and if on the release day you don't do it, it sort of the live site tends to fall behind.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it has more advantage than any disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I sent an email already to the maintainers. Hopefully, we'll get their reply back. I know we as we talk, we are at the end of the year anyway. So I mean, there's no big rush, but hopefully, by early next month, if we can sort of work on it, I think that should be great.
Yeah, I think we can CC somebody or assign people here so we get enough attention.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I think that was the only thing. Nate, is there anything else from you on this topic? Or?
Yeah, I just wanted to as it is right now, because it is split, I've started working, and you've seen a lot of PRs in the etcd IO code base. That's all sort of preliminary work. The first part of Josh's plan here that I'm going to be executing on is probably the table of contents, and I've put all of the issues related to all of this work in the etcd.io website repo, and am sort of using that as sort of the home base for everything. And so what I've done right now, the PRs that are in are like Shanav said, they are waiting and descriptions for all of the documentation files that we've already got, right? So that we can start using that programmatically on the website side to build out some of the other things that we're wanting to do. So that's why the sort of there's quite a few PRs, but that's why I've tried to split everything up and whatnot. So I'm going to be working on the table of contents first, and then probably after that I'm going to be working on versioning. So that might be a better spot to try and work in some of the other migration stuff that we were discussing. So, and just I'll be working. I'm only taking for myself. I'm only taking sort of government stat holidays off in the next couple of weeks here. So I'll be trying to do this work over the next few weeks here, even though other folks might be on vacation. So there may be a couple more PRs coming in over the next week or two.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we have a few dedicated reviewers for the website part? It's just
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess most of the etcd maintainers they have same privilege here. I know we added Josh as well and Luke, right? Considering their role, so we did that last year actually. So that they can merge as well, review content and merge.
I was actually going to ask about that as well. I don't, and understandably, I don't have any merge access at this point. But on the website side, like on the code side, I don't expect, like that's very technical. I wouldn't expect to have that, but I would appreciate being able to merge on the website side. And I can promise that I will only merge website related things, and that I would have any technical documentation change reviewed before I would merge it. I've also built out DexIDP's website as well as CNI's website. So it's yeah.
And I mean, the way it works is, the maintainers, they have their vote, right? So I'm sure, with all your contributions, I think Vengia, we can ask maintainers, and and if everyone thinks they, I mean, I don't see anything, it's good, it's great for the website. So, yep.
Yeah,
we can work on that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
I wanted to say that it's great to see cleanup or restructurization of documentation. And I think it's something that etcd really needs. So thank you for all this work. So when Gia mentioned changelogs, and kind of it fixed me on the aspect of changelog. So in terms of restructurization of changelog, like I think we need to find a way of expressing them more towards what users need, not what internal developers need. So talk about like features that were added in particular versions of etcd in terms of the API changes externally and internally for our needs, like what changes between different storage formats, such that we can check what's safe changed in the new version without making blind assumptions that the data format was always like it.
Okay. Is there anything else? I think that's the 3 items on the shared doc.
Yeah, and we have Dims joined, so that's great. Anything from you, Dims? And
No, I came to say hi.
oh, that's nice of you. Yeah, we were talking, Dims, that it's the second half of December, so not many people on the call.
Right. True.
Yeah, but you made it even better. We were only 4 of us, and
Yeah, usually I have like overlapping meetings, right? So I end up missing a bunch of things. So when those got canceled, I'm like, where can I go show up? So
oh boy. Yeah, well, glad it worked out.
Yeah, but we talked about the GRPC upgrade thing. Yeah.
oh, you did. So the one more twist to the tail is what was the other thing that we were tracking? Protobuf, GoGo Protobuf, and yeah, you talked about that too, Vinjia.
Yeah, that's the GRPC plan because it's blocked. The Kubernetes blocked. We saw this issue that you filed.
Right.
Yeah, somebody is working on it, but then stopped.
Yeah, I had a long conversation with Daniel Lavalamp, and well, the problem right now is we can upgrade the GRPC, we can upgrade the other protobuf, but then at runtime something fails with the GoGo protobuf, and GoGo protobuf, there's no maintainers, right? So they don't want to maintain it. So we don't know what to do. We can't get Kubernetes get rid of GoGo protobuf because of performance reasons. So, and it's failing on etcd code, not on the Kubernetes side. So it's a bunch of things together.
We confirm the performance reasons. My understanding was that we need to get rid of the gRPC code dependency to be able to update to not GoGo protobuf to proper protobuf v2 Google implementation. And then we can run performance tests and really check whether GoGo protobuf performance is significantly better than what we can get from the main one. But it's a chain of dependencies to do this cleanly.
Right. So the question becomes like, what do we do on the etcd side? Because we need to do something on the etcd side, because then Kubernetes vendors etcd, right? So etcd can dictate what is the dependencies that Kubernetes ends up picking up. So that's the question here.
Yes. So my understanding is that like it's a matter of some work estimated around 300 lines of code to get rid of the dependencies of the deprecated part of gRPC. And then we are free to update the gRPC. And it opens basically playground to playing with Google protobuf implementation. I don't know whether there are some semantical consequences of using Gogo annotations about nullability.
Yeah. On the Kubernetes side, they're going to be very conservative on getting rid of the dependency. I can tell you that much for sure. I tried pinging Clayton and a few other people, and it was like, don't touch that piece of code, right? Because it's been working and it's been tuned for some time. So that's basically what will end up happening on the Kubernetes side. So let's try to do whatever we can on the HCD side, and then cut a release, and then we can maybe even cut a beta, and then we can iterate on the Kubernetes side to see what we can do there. Any tags will be fine. We can work with any tags.
Yeah, sounds good.
Some piece of opportunity, but for the future, like in the 3.5 version, is that because the protocol buffers wire format is the same, just the libraries change, I hope, but this is the assumptions of protocol buffers, then potentially there exists path where etcd client as a separate module uses different protocol buffer implementation than the etcd server. It gives some complexity as both client and server are used by the etcd proxy, but I think such path is also feasible, but carries additional risk.
So cross our fingers and see. Hopefully it'll work. Yeah. Also, the other issue would be like version skews. Older versions of Kubernetes with newer versions of etcd or something, some other combinations. We'll have to try it out by hand at least.
Yes, this is the piece I mentioned as having more API-oriented changelog. Which version, what API protocol changes there were that would rise? Which client might not work with which server version, or really which feature through given client might not work with given server version?
Yeah, agree.
All right. So, anything else?
No, all good, Benji.
If not, I guess we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Lovely meeting you all.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.